And welcome, folks, to the talk show, Let the Truth Be Told. I'm your host, Pastor David. And, folks, we got a great conversation we're going to have today. We're going to discuss the illegal gambling with the NBA players. Also, we're going to discuss this shutdown and dig more into it so the people of America and patriots across this country can understand what's going on. So if you ain't got nothing to do, call your friends and let them know. You're listening to Let the Truth Be Told Radio. I'm your host, Pastor. Thank you. And welcome, folks, to the talk show, Let the Truth Be Told. I'm your host, Pastor David. And first, let me give all praises to God and my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for making it possible for me to be here. I want to welcome everybody to the show. Well, folks, there's a couple of things that we're going to discuss today. And one of those things is the illegal gambling that the NBA players have gotten themselves involved with. Now, one of the things that I want to discuss is, if you made gambling legal, how does it become illegal? And that's what we're going to dive into this afternoon. And also, we're going to talk about this shutdown. It needs to be shut down. The Democrats are still hoping that the Republicans fall. They're hoping that the American people will blame the Republicans when every Republican has already passed the bill. The bill has already been passed from the Democratic side under Joe Biden, a clean bill, and yet the Democrats are holding out, hoping that the American people think that this shutdown is by the Republicans, but we know who the crooks is. And in saying that, let me get my team in this afternoon. What's up, Randy?
Good day to you all, Pastor.
Lucretia, how you doing? Doc?
Pretty good.
Yo,
hey, how you guys doing?
Doc back from Doc. You've been on vacation twice this year.
I've been on vacation a lot this year. Well, a lot of it was just visiting different football stadiums with my husband and family.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Now, guys, I looked at this whole thing with the gambling. When you start talking about sports and gambling, it has always been a travesty of justice that one thing that in college sports, the universities is making trillions of dollars off these athletes. So finally, they made it to where the athletes can start to get paid for their images and so forth. But we just recently, this thing came across the news about illegal gambling, a couple of Chauncey Billups and some of the other basketball players who got caught up into this illegal gambling scheme. And Doc, I know you want to talk about it. You want to explain to our listeners and viewers on what you found out about this.
Yeah, so there's two separate issues. There's a basketball player that was found, saying that maybe he was injured during the game so that the spread of points, matched what people were betting on. That's one side of it. The other side with Chauncey Billups is a poker game scheme. And the reason it's a scheme is because he was used as the face to draw people in that were high rollers to this poker game. Now, behind that, there are also two other organized crime crime families, the Gambino family and the Lacazette family. And so they basically gave them contact lenses, cameras on their eyeglasses or shades that certain people wear. The table actually had glass. It was made in a way that there are cameras underneath the table. So everybody at the table who was involved in the scheme, they knew what was going on, but the innocent people that came in to actually just play with Chauncey Billups, like I don't know if anybody's ever watched World Series of Poker. So it was very similar to that. It's like, oh wow, I get to play with this entertainer. Well, yeah, but he knew that you were being played. But that was his job to bring in big fish. Now, beyond that, I'm like, okay, Chauncey didn't set that up. That was set up by somebody else. So he's a little fish in this pond, right? But the bigger fish in the pond are the organized crime families that they are actually going after. And they, say that they've taken people for hundreds of millions of dollars. My whole thing is we're not showing the faces of these organized crime families. Like everybody knows the Gambino name. You know what I'm saying? But you're still an organized crime family. You're still walking the planet with impunity and you're not in prison. You know what I'm saying? Like, FBI, that this has been going on. However, until it was, in my opinion, convenient to really nail somebody, because Chauncey probably got into some debt and he probably had to pay for that debt by being a part of this in the first place, got other people involved in it. I mean, it's a mess. So, they'll figure it out, but I don't think these families are going to stop doing what they're doing. And they've really changed the vibe of sports betting because now everybody's on high alert. Like I heard 4 different times that Lamar Jackson, he's not playing. He's not playing. He's not going to play. I'm like, okay, NFL, we get it. He's not playing. But people bet on these different sporting games. So that now everybody's in a more tense mode because they have to be.
Yeah. Your thoughts, Randy?
100% with her. The funny thing is they won't put these faces up of the crime families. Why? Because hello, they don't want to.
Well, and they're part of the system.
Exactly.
Sorry.
And so they're just gonna throw the name out there, and just say, oh, it's the Gambino family, but they don't want to say who the first names are, and then
nope.
So there's a cover up within the cover up, right? With that, and then sports betting, that's been going on for decades now. With DraftKings, well, that's what I was playing on DraftKings, and you're right, you know what you're getting yourself into when you're saying you're taking a risk on betting. But however, what you don't know is the players are in on it as well for the other side, and they're saying, hey, okay. They're betting. I'm looking at the odds here. They're saying that we're going to win by 30 points. Let's lose by 20 points. And, so this is a locker room talk. Everybody wants to trip about President Trump's locker room talk about grabbing by the, what. This is locker room talk as well. And so it's gonna blow up. And I already saw some reports, just like you, Dr. Shaq. I saw reports that LeBron James is involved. So
it's bad. Because they can tell on each other and say who's playing, who's injured, how many points they might like. It's a whole thing beyond this.
Yeah,
it's really big.
You down there quiet? What you think?
Oh, I'm not quiet. My mind is just screaming right about now. Here I am. Nanny boo boo, you got called. That's it. You know what's wrong. Listen, dude, if you got a debt and you can't pay your debt, did nobody tell you be a patsy for everybody else? Did nobody tell you to be Mr. Black Man, the face, to go out there and procure other rich folks to say, hey, come over here and gamble when you know it was against the law and they was getting robbed blind? Did nobody tell this guy to call, the GOAT of all times and be like, hey, bro, you gonna play tonight? Well, I'm not gonna play. Then that's all I need to know. Hey, I can tell you here's the spread, here's the bet. Did nobody tell these people to do this? The Gambino crime family is an Italian family that's been around since the 1800s when they migrated back over here. This L family, I didn't hear about them until all this happened. The reason why it's happening now, because you ain't got the same old James Comey and the rest of the scallywags at the highest office of law enforcement anymore. So ain't nothing being covered. Everything is being revealed and people don't know how to take it now. So Mr. Rich ass black guy, I didn't tell you to go do that. I didn't tell you to go make favors with the devil. I didn't tell you to go over there and get your friends involved too. Just because you made a mistake and you got in gambling debt, in order for you not to get your knees broke and your ankles twisted, you went ahead and made a deal with the devil, and then you brought in all of your other friends in the locker rooms to get them involved in something you knew that they was going to get cheated and robbed blind out of. So this is a perpetual situation that this guy set up more of his friends to get in trouble and to lose their money. And now if they wouldn't have got caught and Cash Patel wouldn't have stepped in, it'd have been in 10 years. It'd have been worse. Next time they would probably shot him at the table.
Well, you know, the thing that I think about, is, the guys before this happened, Pete Rose and all the other guys.
That was big.
Back in the day, they came out and said, Pete Rose was a gambler, but they already knew that. They used him as a face for retribution because they took away all of his accomplishments and everything that he had done. I guess Pete must have pissed somebody off. And when they did this thing, they made gambling the worst thing in the world for athletes to be doing. And at the same time, this government, they know who the gamblers are because they're getting kickbacks from this whole thing. Yeah. So this is nothing new that we'll see. But this time for me, you got black guys. See, before you had other white guys who were making the big money bets and they was doing that and they was getting away with it. They was involved with these different crime families. But now here it is. You got black players, you got black coaches that's involved with this. And so now it puts a stain on the NBA as well as all the other professional sports. But the thing of it is that you've legalized gambling already. You've legalized it.
Not in Georgia. Not in Georgia. Try it in Georgia if you want to. We don't play that down here. Every state has a different laws. So you ain't coming to Georgia and thinking you gambling. That's why they're trying to break it. About 10 years ago, over a decade ago, when they used to have legalized gambling inside of convenience stores, and moms and dads would forget their kids in the parking lot and they would start dying. So the next thing you knew, Georgia completely took out of all gambling out of the state. That's horse racing and all the rest of this stuff. Now, what are you trying to hear? You want to hear the horse racing come back. They want legalized gambling to come back. If you want to gamble, you got Biloxi, Mississippi, or you could go to Cherokee, North Carolina. Since you took it away from us, and the only people that's really going to make money is the rich folks and the people that actually own the places. And the ones like us that might like to gamble on the side are going to go broke. No. So since you took it away from Georgia, don't bring it back in Georgia. Keep it up there to these other states, that Chicago and Illinois and New York. We don't want to be compared to one of these states that you're going to come down here and break people kneecaps because they can't pay a gambling bill.
Randy?
I have one question, Lucretia.
What's going on?
Is online gambling illegal in Georgia?
No.
Like DraftKings and stuff like that?
You can't do that. You can't do that down here. We don't play that.
Yes, you can. Actually, I mean, they have the lottery. That's technically gambling, and it's legal.
That's it. You can't try it. I want you to go ahead. I'm in Georgia right now. You can do it now. Try and see if you can gamble.
I'm just asking if the app is available in Georgia.
$25,000 on online gambling and poker when Bush was in office. Bush stepped in and said no more online gambling. He killed that for everybody.
No, I was just asking if DraftKings is available online for.
I would have to see.
They block it. Yeah, they block it here
in certain
Texas,
states.
Right, in certain states it's blocked. So that's why I was asking if it's open in Georgia, then they're allowing gambling to a small degree.
I would have to double check it.
So, I would have to look. Yeah, as well.
Look, I'm on here now, and I can answer you. DraftKings in Georgia. And then I'm gonna go to Chat GPT, and we'll go ahead and finish all the rest of it.
I got a clip I want to play. Stephen A. Smith spoke about this gambling. Let's check it out.
News in the National Basketball Association. Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups and Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier were arrested as part of FBI investigations into sports gambling. Billups' arrest was part of a separate but related case linked to an illegal poker operation tied to the mafia. ABC News is reporting. At the core of Rozier's arrest is a March 2023 game that saw an uptick of Rozier bets come on the under. Rozier left the game just 9 minutes in citing a foot injury. Rozier had previously not been accused of any wrongdoing. Also involved in this, former Cavaliers player and assistant coach Damon Jones, who was also arrested on charges that he provided inside information about NBA games to co-defendants. FBI Director Kash Patel announced the arrest. Take a listen.
As you now know, individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today, former current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing. Not only did we crack into the fraud that these perpetrators committed on the grand stage of the NBA, but we also entered and executed a system of justice against La Casa Nostra to include the Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchesi crime families. And the fraud is mind-boggling. It's not hundreds of dollars. It's not thousands of dollars. It's not tens of thousands of dollars. It's not even millions of dollars. We're talking about tens of millions of dollars in fraud and theft and robbery across a multi-year investigation.
Ladies and gentlemen, I see a lot of press conferences and stuff like that. I've seen a lot of things in sports. I don't see the director.
Okay, guys, your thoughts on what he said.
In short, if you live in Georgia, you're using DraftKings for fantasy sports. I don't know what that means. Yes, it's legal. If you're trying to place a regular sports bet on the DraftKings with inside of Georgia, you can't do it. It's illegal down here.
Okay.
So basically, what they're saying is, like the basketball player Rozier, he faked an injury to shave points. Is that what they're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, point shaving. But point shaving has been around for centuries.
Yes.
And I hate to say that. Since sports has been around, people found a way, you know what I'm saying, to capitalize on it. And as long as there was like numbers betting and the ponies, as they used to call them when my grandfather was alive, they're betting on all of this stuff.
And they said it was a multi-year. You didn't say you have
yes.
to
Oh,
this
yeah.
is
So it was over 5 years.
They hit 11 states at the same time. They was in 11 states raiding all these people simultaneously. So that tells me somebody did pay the IRS. This seemed like a whole alien nest situation. Why is it always the IRS that takes these gamblers down? Same like in early 20s, 30s, 40s. It was the IRS. That took these people down.
Well, I was watching it a little bit, and I watched Shaq talk about it, because all these guys are gamblers. As a professional athlete myself, back in the day, I'm not a gambler, but I knew guys who betted. Not only they bet horses, they bet on the different games that they wasn't playing in. So gambling has been around forever, and so I just think when they legalized gambling, it set up a structure that illegal gambling took a whole different face. Now it's not just illegally gambling. Now you're using cameras and you're doing all the same cheating that is done in Las Vegas when you out there gambling. They got the same stuff. They got the tables under the blackjack tables. They know what the deal is. They know who's going to win. They know who's going to lose. So gambling has always been illegally used as a way to break people. Your thoughts, Randy?
Here's the question. Who was the politician that got robbed blind and then snitched on everybody? It had to be somebody huge. Whoever was used and played, they had to have money, power, and clout in order for them to take all these mafia family down. So who was the politician that got in trouble or lost their money at the betting table?
Randy?
You'll never know.
Yeah.
The world will never know, because they won't put their reputation out there like that. Just saying.
And to that point, Pastor, you're absolutely right. People travel around to gamble. I know professional gamblers, and they hit or miss, because they understand the game. They understand the players in the game. And so it's like, hey, I will help you keep your operation going as long as you don't screw me over in the process. I don't have to walk away big, but let me break even. Let me, I just want to kill some time. I just want to have a little fun. Laugh with us, smoke cigars, have a few drinks, but don't try to screw me over. And you'll have those conversations prior to walking into the room. Because you already know what's going down. And it's the same thing with people that go to the casinos and stuff like that. You already know if you're in that apparatus of getting deals to come up to the casino, you get free stays in the hotel, the casino, you getting free play and all. You already know. They already informed you. You ain't finna win all that money. You're not gonna win money. You're gonna win a couple $100, maybe a couple thousand, and take your ass back home. You're not gonna sit there.
The house always wins.
Yeah, exactly. The house always wins.
That's why
that's how it is. That's how it is. So
I'm thinking, who was the guy that lost that $1 million? It was a black guy, a basketball player that lost $1 million from this cheating scandal. How we know he wasn't a snitch?
Well, you also
we know they were. We know they were. That's why they're the face of this. You know what I'm saying? They were used to take down everybody else. That's why I said they're the smaller fish.
We just witnessed something here in the state of Illinois. There was some tax returns that was done by J.B. Pritzker, and all of a sudden there was been a big uptake in J.B. Pritzker's income. He went somewhere in Vegas and won over $1 million. See, that's bullshit. J.B. Pritzker ain't won $1 million.
He might have been lucky. He might have been at the crap table. He might have rolled it. Here, blow on this, sweetie.
he was getting some blowed on it, but it wasn't dice. Okay. Let me say this. Let me say this to the American people and places across this country. Guys like J.B. Pritzker and Brandon Johnson and a lot of these governors in the states, to the taxpayers, this is money that has already been stolen from you. J.B. Pritzker didn't win $1 million in Las Vegas. He's trying to cover the money that they've stole from the taxpayers, like the COVID money. We had $1.7 billion to come in from COVID that disappeared here in Illinois. And so to the people of Illinois, when you look at J.B. Pritzker's taxes and they put them out there, not only has his worth went up from about $3 to $4 billion to $10 to $15 billion now. That's taxpayers' money. He's a liar, he's a fraud, and he's a cheat. And he has been stealing from the American taxpayers in the state of Illinois ever since he's been in office, along with Barack Obama, the Clintons, and all the rest of them who've been stealing taxpayers' money. And that's why they opened these borders to allow these illegals in, because they thought that they would be able to wash the money through. And
God, that makes so much sense. That makes so much sense. Wow.
So that's what this whole thing is about. These guys, they've stole the taxpayers' money already. And they thought that they was going to get the federal government money to wash it through so that they could cover the money that they have stolen. But when Trump got in and shut the money down, now they're scrambling like hell to try to figure out how are we going to recoup this money that we've already stole now that we don't get the federal money no more.
Yeah.
And that's why you see the illegals here. That's why they fighting like hell for the illegals. You see all this corruption in all of these different blue states. It's because the politicians' mission was to get that money back. Now, Harvey, Illinois has been totally decimated. They had to fire all the city workers and all of that because the Democratic mayor, just like the Democratic mayor that's running Chicago, Brandon Johnson, have stolen the money, and now they're not getting federal money, so they're collapsing. Your thoughts, Randy?
Wow.
Harvey was always in the dumps. For the years that I lived, because I lived in Country Club Hills, right next to Harvey, basically. Hazel Crest, all that whole footprint. Country Club Hills was like the nicer part, and then you had Hazel Crest that was kind of like in between, and then Harvey was like what the hell? So it's always been that way. And what's sad is that the folks that lived there, they knew this. Everybody's complicit. They knew this from all the way back in the 90s to the present day. 30 years has transpired, and these folks have known that their politicians are corrupt, stealing their money and everything else. Just like old girl up in Dalton, Illinois,
Tiffany Henry.
Tiffany, yeah, Miss Tiffany, she got she got caught up because she was being a little too flamboyant with it, and so everybody's complicit with stuff. And
let me tell you a story
crazy
about Tiffany Henry. Tiffany Henry was a trustee for Dalton, Illinois, and to y'all out there in Dalton watching the show, I told y'all so. We uncovered that Miss Henry owned property, and there was a lady named Miss Smith that came to ask for my help during her time living in a property that Tiffany Henry owned, and it was covered with mold. The house was, the children got sick, and so when me and my attorneys got together and we supported Miss Smith, we went in and we put it out there. It was all over the news about how Tiffany Henry was a thief and how she allowed these properties to become, she was a slumlord. And the point that,
is you talking about the black lady that was the mayor?
Yeah.
She was a thug.
Yeah.
Her and her people was thugs.
right. And so when we won the lawsuit against Tiffany Henry, she went on to become mayor. And I told people that I knew, Kiana Bell, all of them, I said, man, y'all riding with her and she a thief. And they thought the pastor was lying. And now look at them. They had to go and get her out of office because of all the things that she did, the lies she told, the gangbangers that she had out there. Everything that I told them was going to happen happened to the city of Dalton. Kiana, y'all should have known better. Y'all rolled with her. Y'all helped her got in, and this is the result. Randy?
I would say something real quick. When you said that name just now, I had to crack up laughing because I used to serve in the military with her.
Who is
I
that?
used to work, Kiana Bell.
Yeah, she.
I know her.
Oh, wow.
I know her personally. We used to work together.
Oh, I know her personally too because as the president of the NAACP at the time, out in the south suburbs, I was the president. Miss Bell and some of the other politicians now sat on committees that I had, and the NAACP was powerful. We was probably the second largest branch in the country behind Wendell Anthony, right there in the south suburbs, because people joined us because they had a good president like me who didn't take no bullshit from nobody, and we start suing people all over the place. And that's how I know Miss Bell. She was one of my directors. But the sad thing of it is this: why is it always got to be black faces when the crap hit the fan? It's us.
Because they're easily usable. They're easily usable.
Yeah.
And when you think you deserve something and you're entitled to something, or you was just raised poor, and this is where the Bible come in, and Satan is sitting here just giving you that little trinket that you always wanted, you're willing to bend your compromising morals. While you was talking about that, because me and the doctor, we like, who? Harvey, what? Steve did it. Okay, it says during the meeting, Clark outlined years of fraud, corruption, and mismanagement from past administrations, which he said left the city $164 million in debt. City leaders blamed decades of financial mismanagement, lawsuits, and state seizures of local revenue. The mayor said this isn't bankruptcy, but it is the only way to stabilize Harvey finances while the state considers relief.
Well, we got this going on in Austin right now as we speak. We have this going on literally right now as we speak. It's called Proposition Q. It's called Prop Q, where it's a tax rate election where they're trying to raise the taxes by 20% on property taxes by 20%. So that equates to about $300 a month, or $300 a year, whatever the math breaks out to, because they're trying to fund taking care of the homeless, which they already raised the taxes last year for that, and the money went away. The money disappeared, and so you got all these nonprofits that are invested into this. The mayor, the city council, they created ghost nonprofits to funnel the money through, and they also created a PAC to raise the money so they could push this Prop Q and have people vote for it. And so now the Attorney General, Ken Paxton, is launching an investigation because it's like, number one, y'all illegally raising funds to fund this vote operation. Number two, you got all these shell companies that you're creating all of a sudden overnight that are, all of a sudden going to be recipients of the money from the taxes that are going to be raised. And we already have a $6 billion budget with a $33 million deficit. So what's going on here? What are y'all doing? And so
yeah, they're from California, is what it is. That's the Gavin Newsom, that's Gavin Newsom kind of stuff going on, because their homeless situation in California is even worse. They pay over $90,000 a year per homeless person, and people are still homeless. When I heard everything that you said, Randy, that's all they're doing. I guarantee you, 70% of those people are from California.
Yeah, wow. There are people are being bussed into Austin. Literally, there are people being bussed in. They're homeless.
We always talk about the problems. Here's a solution. You said $90,000 per person, right? So we know
annually.
We know that there's a lot of land in the Midwest that people don't live in. So give that 90,000. Go get a trailer, mobile home, tiny house, and that's your homeless population taken care of, and they have a roof over their head. I don't understand how they.
Because here's the grift. Here's the grift. That is accountability for each human, but they actually only spend maybe $1,000 a year on that human, and they bank the rest. See, here's the deficit part with these NGOs and all of these other non-for-profit agencies. There's no accountability. They're never audited, and all they have to do is use 20% of the money that they're given towards the issue. So if you got $100,000, you only have to use 20,000 of it towards homelessness. The other 80,000 you pocket as administrative costs, and that's what they've been doing. They've not been helping the homeless. It's a business model to make more money.
And these CEOs and managers of these nonprofits. You see that you looking at their they got a 6-figure income salary. It's like
always.
Well, why do you have a 6 figures? Come on,
this is the
thing. Austin.
This is the thing that's in Chicago, and this is how Chicago got messed up so bad. The money that was supposed to go to the homeless people was done just like you said, Doc. That money in the federal budget never got to them. But the real problem, especially here in Chicago and the state of Illinois, are the NGOs. I'm talking about the NAACP that represents no Black people at all, and they're fighting to keep the migrants here. I'm talking about the fraternities and sororities, the Divine Nine. They've been stealing money hand over feet, using the DEI as a cover for themselves. Wow. We're talking about the Urban League in Chicago. See,
stop playing.
No, the Urban League in Chicago, who have gotten millions and millions of dollars saying that they were going to help the Black community, and not one penny has been to the Black community. So these type of organizations, Operation Push, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton with the National Action Network, all of these NGOs have been washing money through. They've been stealing taxpayers' money, and the mayors like Brandon Johnson put money into the fraternities and sororities. Most of them is running the state now. And that's what I'm telling people. You got most of all these educated fools running our cities, and they're trying to create a new Black community. They're not trying to rebuild the Black community that's there. They're living in these gated communities. They're using addresses like they live in the city. They're getting their money, washing it through their organizations, and not putting one dime back into the Black community, because they're trying to create a whole new Black society of educated fools that's going to let everybody else come into the Black community. And that's the problem. And that's what I sent a message to President Trump. Stop giving money to these HBCUs. He's already said he's going to give $500 million to them.
He already did. That was 3 months ago. You remember during his first term, he gave, and I don't think it was it wasn't 500 million this time around. He upped it up a little bit, because he said, stop coming to the federal government. You shouldn't be coming every year trying to beg for money. Here's a lump sum of money, spread it out, and that's it. But it was more than $500 million.
Let me say this. Now, that over $500 million is gone. It's gone.
They mismanage everything. Like, this is why Deion Sanders is no longer at the HBCU, ma'am. This is why he's gone.
Because when they put the money into these HBCUs, the fraternities and sororities head that the alphas, the omegas, the kappas, all of them have these organizations on the side that they're washing the money through. So most of them, I know people that belong to the Divine Nine, and some of them have already told me, they've already sent me information on how they helped steal the 2020 election. They helped stole it. I got documentation proving that. And so that's why I sent the message to President Trump. If you gave them that money to the HBCUs, that money is already gone because there was no oversight. And that has been the problem, because what the Divine Nine has done is they played us. They played with Joe Biden. They helped him steal the elections. That's why the black communities are being drained out. And now all of a sudden, they're falling back away from the Democrats. Now they're at Trump's door begging for money. Well, you know, you can give us this and give us that. And the money that he's already given them is gone because they've taken that money and it has disappeared, and nothing good has happened in the black community. And that's why I'm telling people, you don't have to be an educated person to run for office, because that's what we got. We got educated people who belong to these NGOs who have used DEI to steal tons and tons of money from the black community. And that's why you see it dying.
But Pastor, I'm playing devil's advocate here. If he don't do anything for the the historical black colleges, if he don't give up that welfare, then he's a racist. He's a misogynist. He hate black people. He's no good. I'm so tired of it, of listening to this. And then I'm hearing y'all speak all of this. The Urban League, the NAACP,
all of them.
Coalition, you know, that was
they're all Democrats, and they all hate black people. All of them. All of them.
Now, to y'all,
sorry,
I got to say something to the American people and patriots across this country, and to black citizens. What has the NAACP done to help the black community keep their civil rights? They've been silent when it came to the homosexuals taking over, because the homosexuals bought a bunch of memberships. They've been quiet when it comes to really standing up for the black community with crime, because they don't care. They want regular black people to go to jail and have no interest in this country. These gatekeeping Negroes have been the ones who have pretty much sold the black community down the road and made black people think, because see, them Negroes are standing on the shoulders of real black people like my parents and myself. My parents, your parents, helped fight to open up the doors for our young people who are supposed to be the talented 10 to go to college and come back and help rebuild the black community. They have not done that. Their mission is to clown, beat sticks on the ground, holler the Kappa rapper crap, and then make black people think, well, we in office, we gonna help you out. We gonna do this and do that. And under their leadership, they have stole more money from the black community. They made the black community desolate, and that's not lifted one finger to help it. But now here it is, now that Trump is in office, they're over there with their hand out begging for it, claiming, well, if you don't give us some money, he's a racist. I think that there needs to be a federal investigation into the Divine Nine, the NAACP, Urban League, Cash Patel. You watch my show. That's where you start to find out the money that's being watched through, because that's who J.B. Pritzker has been using to steal money from the black community through these NGOs. And until we stop that, it's going to keep going. I want to play
I'm disappointed in how they are treating Wilson Sears. I am very disappointed on how they treat
How they treating who?
Winston Sears. The lady, the Marine that is running for governor of Virginia. The NAACP literally just endorsed Spanberger. And this heifer said, she didn't say what she would do for the black community. She wouldn't say what she would do to make Virginians better. I'm looking at Miss Sears, Miss Winsome Sears. That's the role model that I would look up to, but not this woman right here. It's like what the advancement of Caucasian people, because that's what the C stands for at this point.
But you know, she's probably she's probably all about LGBTQ.
That's what it's
right?
about.
The one that's the Democrat. She's all about men and girls bathrooms. You know what I'm saying? Like she's that
and
person, and that's who they
Winston
want.
called him out, and she called him out on that. Winston Sears is currently the lieutenant governor, and she called him out, and she called all of them out. You know, and President Trump, he's kind of like, I hope she wins, but he's sitting back, you know, because she went after him too. She called him out on his mess, you know, a few years back. So I can see why he don't want to give her his endorsement yet. But all in all, you're right, Lucretia. The NAACP, and it's another black organization that came out and endorsed her. And so it's like guys, y'all, you know, you just make yourselves look stupid, right? You got clearly a distinguished white woman and a black woman running for office, and you're a black organization. You call yourself want to support black people, but you
they bleed.
That's because the NAACP and these divine nines and organizations have been given money, and they've been put in a compromising position, just like with the LGBT. NAACP has done nothing for black people. You would think that they would be standing for civil rights for black citizens across the country. With the illegals, they should be fighting against the illegals who are now inundating the black community in every which way that they can, and yet you have not heard one noise from them. You haven't heard anything from Rainbow Push with Jesse Jackson with his sad ass. All the years he's been there, he's never done nothing. He took people welfare checks and became the pay. I know you from Operation Breadbasket. And if you don't like what I'm saying, Jesse and the rest of y'all Negroes, y'all sue me.
They mostly support Zoran Mandani. Okay, they support a socialist. Kathy Hochul just came out in support of Mandani. Okay, Al Sharpton and Spike Lee were at an event where they were supporting Mandani. Okay,
wait a minute. 40 acres and a mule. 40 acres and a mule. Got wake up days, school days.
On the socialist panel.
You talking about Spike Lee, the homosexual? Spike Lee, the LGBT clown. That's what this is all about. This has never been about helping the black community. No. It was to promote homosexuality and make it normal, guys. So that's where we're at with that. And I want to say this to the American people and patriots across this country. You don't even have to dig far to find out just how bad that we are being used and played, and our taxpayer dollars are being given away to millions and millions of illegals. And saying that, I want to move a little bit to the next phase, because we already know the gambling thing is done. I was going to play Shaq, but Shaq is only talking about these guys and what they should have done, and they should have known better. But I want to go right into this whole thing with the illegals, because this shutdown is all surrounded about the illegals. It has nothing. This whole shutdown is about how the Democrats now need to try to prove up and get money for the illegals, because a lot of them has made deals with the cartels, like Brandon Johnson, who allowed all those Tren de la Garde gang members up there on the South Side, and he knew himself because he said out of his mouth these were rundown buildings. Well, Brandon, if you knew that these buildings were slumlords, why would you even not shut those buildings down as the mayor if you know that? But yet you let all sorts of illegals get in, and now you're crying foul because of the fact of the matter is that the American people and the people of Chicago have busted you. Let's check this clip out.
The White House revealed that dozens of criminal illegal immigrants have received Medicaid. Fox News Digital obtained detailed information surrounding the arrests of 49 illegal migrants who have all been deported under the Trump administration, who were arrested for an array of crimes that occurred in the U.S. charges. Congress remains deadlocked as the government has been shut down for more than 2 weeks over budget disputes. Senate Democrats pushed to reinstate Medicaid policies altered under Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Republicans argue that over 1 million illegal immigrants received Medicaid under previous federal and state policies. White House spokeswoman Abigail Jackson reportedly criticized Democrats for allegedly prioritizing illegal migrants over Americans. Jackson said criminal illegal aliens receive Medicaid at taxpayer expense due to lax federal and state controls. Federal law bars undocumented individuals from Medicaid, but some states use federal funds for state-specific programs. Under the previous Biden administration, states could not restrict the duration of Medicaid eligibility for undocumented migrants. Trump's Working Families Tax Cut Act aimed to prevent taxpayer funds from subsidizing health care for illegal aliens. The White House claims Democrats are risking public pain to undo reforms and expand benefits to undocumented immigrants. Most of the illegal migrants identified come from Mexico, El Salvador, and some from China. Illegal immigrants could access Medicaid through multiple programs, including emergency care funded by taxpayers. Emergency Medicaid spending rose from $3 billion to $9 billion under former President Joe Biden, according to officials. These funds often surpass spending on pregnant women, children, the elderly, and disabled Americans. The One Big Beautiful Bill Act removed provisions allowing certain undocumented migrants to access Medicaid. Senate Democrats are attempting to reinstate these provisions in the ongoing continuing resolution.
You might recognize them.
Okay, guys, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, they wanted 1.5 trillion in the CR, as the video was stating, and they're trying to go back to pandemic level spending. The problem is, where's the money going to come from, and why are we sending over $490 million to PBS? Right, when they've already been defunded? Like, what are we doing? It's like they really have missed their money laundering. Pastor, to your point, they've missed the scheme, and they're like, we have to figure out a way to get this put back in place. That's all I see.
Your thoughts, Randy?
I've been getting into arguments down here in Austin with people about the shutdown and about illegal immigrants don't get Medicaid. They can't sign up for Medicaid. I'm like, you idiot. They go to the emergency room. I was like, come ride with me. Let's go. There's a couple of hospitals right here, a couple of clinics. Come ride with me and look around in the room and see who all is in those facilities. That's how they get it. And then once they get billed, they split the bill between the state and the federal government to pay for it, because that illegal is not paying for it because they can't get it. So
and then they also have status as well.
Yes.
Your thoughts, Lucretia?
It's crazy.
Oh, basically the rest of the money, other than, funding gave people in Uganda to, cook for a living. The rest of it is the subsidies to prop up Obamacare. This is all about Obamacare. Obamacare is about to go away. Y'all do understand that. I keep telling everybody, y'all better not blame not one dang on Republican, because not one Republican voted for that failure of a law. So since the Democrats actually put it into law, they formulated it, they did the subsidies, they did the pyramid scheming, they forgot to put the money in there. And the money is running out at the end of this year. So Trump ain't arguing with you no more, because didn't nobody want Obamacare. So we're gonna let that ride off to the sunset, and Obama don't like that. So this is the holdout, is to make sure that we continue to have a pyramid scheme called Obamacare.
Well, Obama was the biggest thief of all time in the history of presidents. He diverted so much money from the taxpayers under this Obamacare scheme, and the benefits in Obamacare is not even enough to help those seniors who need it. Now, he came out and he added a few things. He created Part C, which would allow the seniors to be able to get all the other services that they need in the Advantage Plan. But the downfall of it is all the copay. So the copays and all of these different advantages, I know because I'm a Medicare advisor. I train every 10 months to know all the rules and regulations. And so what they did was use Obamacare as another vehicle to steal money and wash it through. And yet the seniors really didn't get a lot of benefits, because under the last administration, when the Inflation Act came about, a lot of the carriers were able to remove benefits and reduce benefits for the seniors. You know, like one company I know of that was providing at least $5,000 worth of dental for the seniors. After the Inflation Act, they reduced it down to like $250. And what is that? We lost so much under the Inflation Act, and then yet they blame Trump for this when it was the Democrats who used Obamacare to put these things out there and rob the seniors, but yet turn the seniors against the government, which Trump is now trying to bring things back. Because I look at some of the Medicare plans now, they started to put more benefits back in it, but most of the benefits was taken out from this Obamacare thing during the Democratic leadership. And so that's why a lot of seniors are having to make a decision on whether I can eat today or whether I need to pay for my hospital bills and all of the rest of the things that our seniors are incurring right now, that the Democrats have used Obamacare to steal money and wash it through our system. So that's what's going on. But go ahead, Randy.
I got a question for everyone. Where does it say in the Constitution that the federal government has to provide health care?
Nowhere. Nowhere.
Exactly.
Nowhere.
Absolutely nowhere.
Thank you.
Absolutely
I keep telling people, I'm like, it's unconstitutional anyways. This whole argument about Medicaid, Medicare, I say it's unconstitutional, so it should go away.
But it does prove one thing, that the government is horrible at running any type of business. I'm just saying. You messed up healthcare. Like, how do you mess up healthcare? They found a way.
I've been seeing videos out here with the shutdown and the snap shutdown, and these people are, getting ready to start running up in the stores and running out with buggies full. So a lot of these videos I'm coming across is, I have a right to eat. No, you don't.
Sorry.
I said, ma'am, that's not the Constitution of the United States. And the Bible says, if you don't work, you don't eat. It's that plain.
Well, black and white. It's black and white, folks.
But I was actually doing some research, and I found out that the USDA, they actually do have an emergency trigger if needed. And they did use it in 2018 and 2019 when a shutdown happened before. But here's the thing. Have they set aside that trigger for the first of the month in November? I don't think they have, because when this happened before in 2018, 2019, they told people, don't worry about it. You'll be taken care of. And it was fine. But this is on the USDA now. This is, what I'm saying, for the emergency part. They can trigger that. But Congress, all this stuff is in the Senate. They need 60 votes. It's not just the Republicans. Everybody keeps saying, oh, it's the Republicans' fault. No, it's not. The Democrats' fault also. In the Senate, because that's where the bill is. The House already passed this. Like, y'all need to stop fighting and get this done.
The minority lady came out, the minority whip came out and said, we don't mind to have, struggling and suffering families, because you know what? That's our responsibility, but we need that as leverage. Did she say that?
Yes,
she said that out of her face.
Leverage. What the hell is leverage? You need to pass the clean bill, just like they passed it 13 times. The Republican voted 13 times to keep the government open under the Biden administration. And so why is it that the Democrats now are shutting the government down and lying? I see Jeffrey and I see all of these guys. I see all of them getting on here, and it pisses me off to know that the Democrats did this purposely, because they need the wash through. They've stole so much money, and now that the government is being held up, they don't get to wash the money through. And that's what the problem is.
But Hakeem Jeffrey needs to shut the heck up, because he is not in the Senate. He's only in the House. The only person that we need to be hearing from is Chucky Boy Schumer. That's it. We don't need to see Obama anymore. Just hush it. Every time I see that guy,
the unions have released a statement saying that they're demanding Chuck Schumer to open up the government, because they know the unions are on board with the Trump administration. Like, you know what? We're not going to play this game. We already know it's Schumer. We already know it's a Democrat. So y'all need to cut the BS. And Schumer, open up the government, get your boys and girls online and get it done. Exactly. So the American people, a lot of them are smart. I give them credit. They realize what's going on. They know that they're being held hostage and being used as a pawn by the Democrats. But however, that's it. The same swath of the American people who vote Democrat will ignore the fact that it is the Democrats' fault, and they will try to still blame Trump and everything else, saying, "Well, the Republicans control it." So they're doing these mental gymnastics to justify to continue to support a party that don't give a damn about them. It's like it's. I just look at these people. I'm like, wow, are you serious right now? You literally just said you realize the Democrats are doing this to you, but you still want to support the Democrats. Make it make sense. It's Trump. I don't like Trump. I'm like, okay, Trump is going to be gone in 2 years. You still going to go to the ballot box.
Tells you, sir, that you knock the dust off your feet and you move to the next person that's willing to hear what you got to say. Once you know you're not being receptive and they're not listening to what you got to say, zip your, just don't say nothing else. Knock the dust off your feet and move to that next person that needs your guidance.
But here's the thing, Lucretia. Here's the problem that we have. We have the media that's complicit in it as well.
Yes.
And when people sit down, they turn on that dumb tube and say, you know what, I'm gonna go to my favorite talking head, knowing that favorite talking head is lying to you. You're mentally complicit, and you're saying, yeah, it's a lie, but I'm going to believe it. I'm going to support it, and they go out there and they regurgitate these lies, knowing it's a lie, because when you call them out on it, they can't go any further because you already didn't kill the lie with the truth. And
now, do you think it's going to lead to a further psyop? And see, here's where, I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on and see the psyop. This may be another rollout to see what kind of controls they can get. Right? They've already done the medical. This is the food, right? It's like, okay, if we withhold people who are, living a life where they're desperate, right? They're more desperate than others. What will this create? Because I'm telling you, they want us like the Hunger Games, fighting one another and forgetting who actually caused this larger incident and problem. So we're not looking at them or going after them. And when I say them, I'm talking about our government, state, local, federal, right? We're not holding them accountable, but we're mad at each other and we're going after each other and stealing from one another and damaging one another to where they have to say, you know what, maybe we need martial law. I don't know. Maybe we need to switch to the CBDC because the dollar is failing. Like, I just see all of these things coalescing to, they're just like, we don't know what else we need to do, but we're going to flip that switch.
Now check this out, guys. Check this out. Listen to this. Medicaid is the state-run program.
Right.
The state has enough money. Even right now, if they didn't get federal money, the state has enough money to pay to make sure that families get the food stamps and the Medicaid service. This is what I heard on TV yesterday. I think it was one of the states, Virginia or somebody, but they asked them about that. They said it's a state-run program. And this is what the guy said. Yeah, we do have the money to do it, but we don't want to get caught up having to spend this money past the time. See, the state got the money already to facilitate all of the families across the United States, because this is their program. But they're so worried about that if they use state money, that they're going to be on the hook for taking care of their constituents from now on. And so that's why the state is holding back the funds from the people that need it, because they don't want to have to spend money that they feel the government should be giving them to pay for Medicare and Medicaid. And at the same time, then the states need to be ensuring that illegals are not getting funding for programs for the American citizens. I want to play this clip and we're going to talk about it.
As the government shutdown drags on, the White House is shedding light on how dozens of criminal illegal migrants received Medicaid before their arrests and their deportations. White House spokeswoman Abigail Jackson telling Fox News Digital, quote, due to previously lax federal controls and Democrat state policies, criminal illegal murderers and rapists received Medicaid at the American taxpayers' expense. Joining us now is administrator of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, Dr. Mehmet Oz. Dr. Oz, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Ainsley. You know, the Democrats have been gaslighting us on this issue of Medicaid funds going to illegal immigrants for quite a while. When the president came into office, he insisted we take the fraud, waste, and abuse out of the system. And that's why the One Big Beautiful Bill has provisions to do just that. The shutdown, as you know, is in part because the Democrats want to repeal that landmark legislation. And they keep claiming that there is no money going from Medicaid, an agency that I run, towards illegal immigrants. So we decided to do our homework. We sent our best investigators out to evaluate exactly what is going on. And I'm here to announce, Ainsley, and this is a big deal, that just over the last few months, we have proven that there's been over $1 billion. That's a billion with a B. It's a lot of money. It's not a rounding error. $1 billion paid by U.S. taxpayers for illegal immigrants in about half a dozen states. And we're just getting started. So it's going to be significantly more money than that. And just to break this down for everybody, Ainsley, if you live in Texas or Florida and you're paying U.S. federal taxes, most people do, your money is being diverted to places like California who have robust benefits for illegal immigrants, you know, dental, vision, things you don't even get on Medicare. And those funds we have no ability to track until today. Now we're investigating it, and we're going to continue to track this across the country.
So is that going to continue under the Trump administration? How can we stop this from happening?
Well, the legislation allows us to do just that. We are no longer obliged to pay for illegal immigrants in states that decide that they think are the largesse of their hearts. They want to fund those programs. If you want to fund full dental, vision, and robust health services in, for example, California or Illinois or New York or Minnesota, that's your choice. If you want to do that, you have to pay with your own state income tax. You can't use federal dollars for that. And so we are clawing that money back. Some of these states have already, they know they're guilty. They begin to pay the money back already. We will get all that money back into our federal coffers. The president is laser focused on protecting the U.S. taxpayer. But Ainsley, this raises a bigger issue. Why are we shut down? The people who should be doing these investigations, the folks who can solve some of the problems that we're having to improve the quality of care, for example, healthcare in this country, but many other services are being compromised by a shutdown that's based on false information. There is money being given to illegal immigrants on Medicaid. Again, Medicaid is designed for our most vulnerable, Ainsley. It's designed for our kids, for our elderly, folks who are struggling with significant health issues. They need those funds. You can't just dole that out to able-bodied illegal immigrants in states because they think it's the right thing to do. If they want to pay for it, they should pay for it.
All right, guys.
Amen.
One moment. Pastor, you need to check your phone right now. Breaking across the screen. Every auto pen pardon is null and void. Check your phone. I just sent you the article.
Wow. So he got close to, he was like at over 8,000. So, I mean, maybe some of them, like maybe 20, might have been done by him, but the other one.
But
I love it.
That was just exactly what I was talking about. So to the American people and patriots across this country, the states already have the money themselves to pay to cover the shutdown, and yet they're holding the money back saying, we want to make Trump look bad. That's what this is about. We want to make Trump look bad. We want to make the American people think that it's Donald Trump who are keeping the Medicaid benefits from the Black community and those who need it. But in all actuality, it's the state's responsibility to ensure that these programs stay funded. And they do not want to fund these programs without the insurance that the federal government is going to give them the dollars back. Your thoughts on that, man?
Okay, go ahead.
I was going
to say the reason why a lot of these states can get the money they can is because of the claims that are processed. So I just want people to understand it's not like they're giving the money ahead of time. They're giving the money on the back end. They submit the Medicaid claim, then they get the funding. But sometimes based on that funding, they're automatically getting that money monthly. So that goes to Pastor David's point that they are, their safety net, I should say, for their state is now going away. But they can pay for it because you've got people paying state taxes.
Exactly. Lucretia?
I don't think Illinois, they're going to be in trouble if they start trying to pay all their bills. I mean, they're going to go broke.
So, they already are.
Yeah.
I think with the USAID, I think with all of this, like you said, kickbacks, the theft, the waste, fraud, and abuse, it was all being washed away, and it's not going to the American. Now, I'm not going to say that, I don't like all immigrants. I can't say that. But when I know our American dollars and tax dollars should be going to people like us, American citizens, before it goes out of the country, that's when I start having a problem. So I do have compassion for immigrants. I didn't say illegals, but immigrants. But we come first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Amen. I concur. And with that, Lucretia, it's not even so much the immigrants, because we once upon a time had a system where if you are coming to this country legally and you're trying to become a U.S. citizen and everything else, that was all on your dime, on your merits, on how you support yourself.
Absolutely.
Don't come over here and say, oh yeah, I can pay to get in. However, I need help, sustaining my life. Yeah, get your ass back over where you came from. And that's how it should be. That's how it was. That's every country is like that. And this is what I tell people. I'm like, you sit here getting mad that we're deporting all these people and we're being inhumane, quote unquote, and all this. It's like, guys, no country. You cannot name one single country in the world that just opens up their borders and say, come on in, we don't care, do what you do, have fun, have a great life. It don't exist, because you have to have an ID, you have to have passports, you have to have visas everywhere in the world to go to utilize their systems and everything else, because otherwise it is unsustainable. And for people to think that the United States is a model or an experiment to try and see what would happen if we allow these kind of things, it's the wrong answer, because now the American people are suffering, and the illegals are suffering. The illegals are actually suffering too, because guess what? When those illegals can't get those benefits and whatnot, now they're in destitution.
They should go home.
They should go back. Because I was going to say that.
Let's go home. I mean,
way more walking. Just walk back across that border.
And that's the thing that I have a problem with, is because you are here illegally. You have broken the federal laws, and yet you keep thinking that you're entitled to something when you are not.
They keep being told they are. See, they were told this, and they were a lot of these NGOs that set up systems so they could get the food trucks, so they could, circumvent the system and get the business licenses, so they could start all of these different businesses that American citizens should be given. Like, in my opinion, like at this point, the Small Business Administration should be going after every single American that's on assistance right now and figuring out, what do you want to do? What kind of job do you want to work? What kind of business would you like to start? Because it's the entry, right? It's not that people don't want to have their own business. It's the entry, and you're denying access to Americans. I was in Niagara Falls, America, on the American side. There were so many people from other countries running small businesses. I was like, where are the Americans running these businesses? Your town looks like it's falling apart. Because I'm like, okay, the Americans left because they were not getting support here in Niagara Falls.
Let me play this clip about the support, what you're talking about.
Where there's bipartisan support from parents to crack down on processed foods and dyes and added sugars. But the MAHA movement is only getting 38% support. Look at this. Supporters of the MAHA movement, total parents, 38%. Republican parents, 62% like MAHA. Democratic parents, 17%. And independent parents, 34%. What is wrong? Why aren't we getting more support for MAHA when that's what it's all about? Cleaning up our foods.
It's about cleaning up our food and cleaning up our environment. And to me, MAHA really is about just being curious. As you know, 80% of questions are really statements in disguise. And MAHA, you want to actually know the truth. Are we having problems with these additives and processed foods and the like? I think the reason those numbers are low, Ainsley, is because a lot of Democrats don't want to acknowledge that the MAGA movement forced this country to answer big questions. And out of that came this concept of MAHA, which is to ask those tough questions about our food supply.
Okay, guys, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, we've got nanotech in our food, and the FDA approved it. Just saying.
I don't know, but
we don't.
My chitlins. I can just throw that out there. Listen, I love my chitlins from the Ruta and Statutas. I like them hot. I like neck bones. Okay, I like some stuff. So I ain't going vegan anytime soon.
Well, you know, this has been one of the things with the health department. When we had those people in before, they help assist the COVID fraud. Okay. COVID was the biggest fraud on the American history of all times. And yet now COVID is still around, but you don't see people dying from it like they was killing people in the first place. When they said you couldn't get no other medicines to help you except specific medicines that the government wanted you to have. So what
Bill Gates is getting ready to drop. He said Bill Gates and also Soros and also Dr. Fructose corn syrup. I mean, Dr. Fauci. They have already came out and said, be prepared for another scamdemic that it will wake you up this time. So there you go.
Yeah, because they already have the nanotech out there. That's what part of the shots were. The shedding, still nanotech, but they've put it in the food and they are not disclosing in our food supply where it is. So, you know, we have to be more vigilant as consumers and read the labels. And if you don't understand what something is, look it up. Google's right there. You and your phone are usually in the grocery store.
The other thing, Dr. Shack, is also, I saw a report just 2 days ago about how these pharmaceutical companies are spraying the vaccines directly onto the produce. Like you go to the grocery store, you get a head of lettuce.
Something called Appeal, APEEL, and that's through Bill Gates.
So they're already contaminating our food supply intentionally. They're like, okay, we can't get these jokers to get the shot, so we're just going to spray it onto their food, and they're going to eat it anyway. And so, but then the question is, what's the dosage? Is it an adequate amount of dosage? Is it too much dosage? Like, what's going on here? Well, like, why do you have to feel the need to put vaccines onto food? Why can't it be the American's choice?
Because it's about control.
It's about control.
This is all about control. This is not about freedom anymore.
But
I said abolish them.
You know what, guys? Now, the American people and patriots across this country have already seen the fraud that George Soros, Dr. Fauci, and all the rest of these so-called doctors who went along with COVID, because once they couldn't force the people to take the shot, which was totally illegal, now they're using it to put into our food to create what? That's the question you have to ask. What are you trying to create by allowing a synthetic like mRNA to go into people's bodies? What are you trying to do?
It's about tracking, and it's about control. They can shut everything off. That's why the CBDC is next. When they pass the Genius Act, that's a backdoor to the CBDC, because the money's next. If I can't control you to take a shot, and if I can't control you with food, I will take away your money, and I will take away your ability to move freely.
It's called the New World Order. Period. I don't care if people say that's a lie. Listen, it all boils down to, you can call it whatever you want to call it. You can call it the World Economic Forum, the CDC, the WHO, the globalists, all of it is all about population control and having control on all of us. And once they get that nanochip in us and they get that mark of the beast, they will be omnipotent and they will truly try to act like God. It's all foretold, Pastor. So you need to start schooling us on what to look for.
Yeah, well, you know what? That's why we do this show, to bring information to the American people and patriots across this country. And those who watch the show, I'm encouraging you to go to our platform, because, you know, platforms like Facebook and X and all of them, when shows like this come out and drop receipts and drop knowledge to the people, they try to stop the show any way that they can. So I urge people to go to our platform, Let the Truth Be Told platform, to watch the show from now on. This way you can get the full dynamics of what we're saying, instead of it being broken off or you hear certain things or the show drop. Go directly to our platform, Let the Truth Be Told networks. We're on Fire, we're on Roku, we're on every platform, but go directly to our television platform, LetTheTruthBeTold.lightcast.com. Y'all see it at the bottom. Go there and watch the shows from now on. This way you can get the full gist of the show and understand more about what we're putting out there so that you can share it around so we can keep the American people informed. Randy, your last words. We got to get out of here.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, wake up. You know, you're being screwed over every day. Read the Constitution and understand what it is that the government can and cannot do to you.
All right.
Holla at you later.
Hey, everybody. Just a reminder, check out USARedemptionParty.com. We're looking for servants of the people, not politicians. And we're also looking for members of the party. And that is USARedemptionParty.com.
Lucretia?
I'm about to join Doctor because I'm about sick of the Republicans and they on this. I mean, y'all, I will see y'all at 5:00 every night on the Real News with Lucretia Hughes. We talk 2 hours. Please bring the receipts. That's articles, points of references where you found your facts, because we just ain't finna talk about anything, Jack. So other than that, we'll see you back here at 5.
And I want to thank you guys for tuning in to the show. I'll see you guys. We got a show tomorrow, too. Mr. Binky is going to be one of the guests. So y'all stay tuned and we'll be ready. Folks, I want to thank you for tuning in to the show. I ask that you share it around. Again, I say go to our network, Let the Truth Be Told. It's running down at the bottom of the screen, LetTheTruthBeTold.lightcast.com. These are my last words. To the American people and patriots across this country, we have lost righteousness. There's no righteousness that are being done by the political leaders in this country. And that's what we, men and women of God through Christ, should be standing up. All of us should be saying no. The first thing we need to do is get into position to change. It's going to take righteous people in order to change this country. Not the ones we see now that has no God fear in them, but it's going to take American citizens who believe in God and Christ to do the right thing. It is our responsibility as pastors, and if you've given your life to Christ, it's your responsibility to ensure that righteousness is done throughout this world. And to the American people and patriots across this country, now that we understand that the shutdown is being perpetrated by the Democrats, I don't see how one citizen in this country who have been abused by the Democratic Party, that we should even vote for them. And I keep telling the American people and patriots across this country, now that we know it is the Democrats who have propaganded this shutdown for monetary gain and control of the American people. And in saying that, I got to run. I want to invite everybody back tomorrow. We got a great show. Y'all check it out. And let's just